Fanspeak, where the plan runs deep. The team grind hard, don't eat, don't sleep. From best ball dreams to DFS streaks, they help you print money every single week. Fanspeak. No cap, no gimmicks, we breaking limits. NFL bets, yeah, we live this business. Degen Steve, that OG vision. Draft room killers on a lifelong mission. More stress to the Sunday spread. Fanspeak's that voice that's inside your head. Best ball, DFS, NFL bets. They built it brick by brick, no regrets. Fanspeak. Fanspeak team, printing money since day one. Fanspeak, forever.
Welcome back to another episode of Talking Ball Steve-O Speak. We are back in the best ball streets today. We're going to do a couple drafts, at least two, maybe three. We'll start with the big board, but I would like to do a war room later. I definitely want to hear from Chad if people are interested in that. I got two left to do. I've done two slow. So I'm going to try and do at least one fast today and maybe one more fast tomorrow on stream. So I want to thank everyone for jumping in and joining. See some people in chat already. We've got Aiden checking in. My man Steven in the house. Hope all is well. Can't wait to draft. Hope all is well with you too, Aiden. And looking forward to draft as well. We got Hartman checking in, GM. And then Mike Robb, you were a little slow in the draw. But it's okay. It's okay. It's still, we're still in the month of February, so still plenty of time. We are getting more and more to talk about as we get closer and closer to the combine and then free agency and then of course the NFL draft, after which we will have, the BBM and all the regular contests. But definitely a few interesting tidbits. One of the biggest ones is Mike Evans is officially back. He announced his plans to play again next year. Left open the door that he would explore free agency, though most Bucks insiders believe he's a likely back with Tampa, and that's how I've been treating it. So I feel good about that. I did update my rankings. I moved him up a little bit. News today, right before I jumped on, was the Rishi Rice civil lawsuit and just some of the claims by his ex and stuff like that, and doesn't sound good. Obviously he will have his day in civil court, but at the same time the NFL is investigating, and as we've seen in the past, they will be willing to suspend regardless of the outcome there, regardless of a settlement out of court, regardless of what how much help his alleged victim gives the NFL. So that's something to keep in mind. I already am lower in him than consensus, and I probably will just continue to avoid him at this point. I think particularly given his past and how hard the NFL wanted to come down on him last year, and the fact that he did some of these instances of abuse at a time when he was telling the NFL that he was a choir boy, is not going to go favorably for him. So I do, maybe we don't hear it before the season. Maybe it happens during the season. Who knows? The NFL can be very tight-lipped about some of that. But I would just be very wary in terms of drafting him. And honestly, I think there's a chance if some of what is alleged comes out to be true, the Chiefs could cut him. They did this with Kareem Hunt before, and I just do not get shocked if I think that's a small outcome, but there's a real chance there's a chance that Rishi Rice is not on the Chiefs. I think people should at least keep that open in the mind of possibility. We got Who-Heems checking in, sup fam, and Who-Heems is a Chiefs fan, so I know it's tough for him to see and hear all this kind of stuff going on. Unfortunately, but I do think he's kind of definitely very wary of the situation as well. Dan Kanda tied it with 3 minutes ago. Yeah, sorry, I have not been watching the Olympics, but I know some good matchups going on. But thanks for joining, Paul. We got Meg checking in. Who I'm saying I still think he's gone. So I, clarify if what you're saying, like you think he gets cut. She race speed rank. Yeah, I mean it's not been a good look. And I think that's what it's going to come down, both for the NFL and the Chiefs. Hope May could possibly even hop in the draft if she's in chat. Yeah, I don't think I have a single share yet. I mean, I probably will get a couple, but I do expect as more stuff comes out, he starts to fall. Good thing he brings a true character guy like Tyreek Hill. Yeah. I mean, Tyreek's definitely had his plenty shares of issues, and it cost him on draft day, and it cost him in other parts of his career as well. So, Mike Evans. I think Mike Evans is gone. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, the door is open. So I do think it becomes interesting. There was a report, and I've seen this a couple times, like last time when he was a free agent, well, he eventually came back to Tampa. Mike Evans considered Houston because he's from the area. That was obviously a much different Houston Texans team. Now, with Nico, with the second year guys, could Houston still be interested? Sure. I just don't know if they had the money for it. Since they're paying Nico, and definitely wouldn't like it for Nico's ADP. And I think that's probably a longer shot. I think more likely potentially Chiefs, potentially the Bills, 49ers. I think those would be some of the more interesting landing spots for Mike Evans. We got King QC checking in, GM. I've been saying the name draft Royals all preseason, and I don't like his profile. Feels like a good call now. Yeah, Royals is definitely like the option if anything happens with Rice, and just in general. I mean, the Chiefs currently free agent wise have Juju Smith-Schuster, Marquise Brown, and Tyquan Thornton. Those were 3 of their 4 highest snap shares among receivers last year, and they're all free agents. And sure, they could bring back, Juju at the cheapest, but I just think somebody's going to have to start stepping up in Kansas City. Hill to the Raiders, what a better combo. They could use that, though. I don't know. I saw a report that, and this was speculative, but Hill could, the injury could be pretty serious, and he might wait until like the season to sign, when he's closer to being ready. And the report was basically saying he probably isn't ready for the start of the year, and he could wait to sign. I didn't see. I tried to look into how much like meat was on that report, but it could make sense that he just kind of waits and then tries to tack on to the team that during the season will give him the most money and or the best chance to go win a ring. Lemon would be amazing in Kansas City. Mike Evans rise no matter where he signs. So, I mean, I do think it's dependent. I think he should rise for sure. He's going in the 60s right now. That's just way too low for a guy who every year outside of last year has just been like a top 15 guy. And, we just know that the upside is there. And even if you say he's and when I mean top 15, I don't mean top 15 pick, but I mean top 15 in wide receiver rankings. And with him currently going as wide receiver, let's just look where he is. Evans is going as current wide receiver 35. That's kind of where he finished in points per game last year, and that was obviously in just the worst situation. So, yeah, I think he should rise, though. If it is somewhere like the Texans, the rise should be very minimal. If it's somewhere like the Bills, the rise should be very high. If it's back with Tampa, I think the rise should be moderately high. I would bet on Evans over Buka for next season. Report came out about a second thing. The report that came out about the second thing does. Gotcha. Needing another surgery, not great. Is that Tyreek Hill? Or did I miss something? Mahomes restructured his deal today. Yeah, they did. They still have a ways to go. But this is, I said this on the show last week talking about free agencies. You have some teams like the Chiefs are way over the cap, one of the highest over the cap, and the Browns are technically under the cap. But the Chiefs situation is actually way better than the Browns because they have guys like Mahomes who they already restructured. They can restructure Chris Jones and save a significant amount. They can cut Juwan Taylor, which is essentially guaranteed. A few other guys they can cut. Where a team like the Browns, the only guy they can really restructure is the one guy they don't want to restructure, Deshaun Watson. It's just keep kicking the can down the road. And they don't have many guys that they can really cut. So even though on paper there was like a $50 million gap between the Browns and the Chiefs, I think the Chiefs are in a better financial situation than the Browns. It sounds crazy, but I do think it's true. Okay, I missed that he definitely needed to have a second surgery. Okay, thank you, Hartman. Yeah, and maybe that must have been with the report that I read, that he won't be ready, or that he's unlikely to be ready for the start of the season and could wait to re-sign, was basing it on. I didn't get a chance to research it much last night, but so that's why I'm still unsure about drafting Tyreek, even where he currently is going, because I wouldn't be surprised if it is something like that. Like, we don't know until very late in the process, and definitely not in this pre-draft best ball. FK, yeah, the range of outcomes, yeah, being a complete zero for the season, 100%. Yeah, and the Chiefs do need to re-sign Kelsey. They have some defense players they need to re-sign, but I just still think they're in a better cap situation than the Browns. And the other thing is, players want to play for the Chiefs, right? Like, nobody wants to go play for the Browns right now. So that just helps as well. You know, like something like, I know people think, oh, there's no way they could get Mike Evans done. Well, like, you know, and I have talked about this before. It's like you can structure these deals with void years and stuff. And the cap hit for Mike Evans, even if he's signing for $20+ million a year, with, you know, it could be like a 2-year deal with 3 void years, and his cap hit for next year could be $6 million, which is pretty damn good for Mike Evans. True, if you're a really strong wide receiver core taking flyer on him, you could manage. And you know, at his current ADP, I like Hill a little later. I think I have him ranked in the 160s, because I just feel there, you know, it's even more significant. Like, if you're attacking Hill on as your 7th, 8th receiver, definitely in an 8 receiver build or a 9 receiver build, I think it can work with the snipe. But it's risky. And what I'd say to this, Aiden, is, for me, I will have like 1% Hill. Like, if you want to go high on Hill, have 4% Hill. Like, I would not want to turn the cards over, and particularly in the pre-draft when we have so little information. Because I don't think, to me, Hill's not somebody whose ADP is going to significantly rise unless we know for sure he's starting week 1. Like, even if he signs first day of free agency to the Raiders, I mentioned the Rams the other day, because they could use a vertical threat. It doesn't matter. Like, it could be the best landing spot. Chiefs, doesn't matter. How much is he going to rise? Until we know for sure when he's ready, is the way I look at it. So I'll probably be 1 to 2%. I would hesitate for anyone to be above like 5% Hill, because I just don't think you're getting the discount that people think they're getting with Tyreek Hill. You know, at best, if everything works well, where's his ADP in July and August? Like, pick 100. And that seems even extreme. Sure, I'd probably have maybe 3 Tyreek. Yeah, exactly. That's how to do it. Yep, and that too. Like, make sure you're covered. Like, don't take Tyreek on a team with, a bunch of other guys who could get cut or could get buried on their team. Take them where you feel the receiver room is strong enough to handle it. We got OTR checking in. Appreciate that. You're doing well. We will jump into a draft soon. I don't know if we get in full go. He's going to go round 7. Is he? I don't know. I just think so many people coming off the injury, like, I guess I compare it to Steph Diggs, because Steph Diggs historically was a top 15 receiver, and had a knee issue, and we were getting great reports on Steph Diggs at this time last year. Like, he was fully back, ready to go. Outside of some weird one Patriots beat reporter in July, and then the next day in OTAs, Steph Diggs is like running every route and everyone's hyping him up. But generally speaking, we had just tremendous reports on Steph Diggs, and for the longest time he was going in the 80s and then 70s. And that was going to a great situation where he had a chance to be the one, and he was the one. And I think people forget, and Huhaim and I will talk about this tomorrow, but just how bad the receivers production was. Like, Steph Diggs didn't have elite production, but end of the day, he finished pretty high in receiver points. And let me bring it up. Fancy Pros. So he more than paid off. God, give me 1 second. And then I promise we will get into a draft. Let's make me sign in. Let's see. Steph Diggs finished, in terms of total points, 18th overall. Like, that's really good for a guy who's going as like wide receiver 45 and 50 at one point last year. We got Chad Candles checking in. GM Steve, hope you're doing well. Chad Candles is the morning streamer. We won't get that, but it's higher. Yeah, I mean, maybe in the 90. I hesitate that it's going to be too crazy. Very tough for me taking Reek and here in 10th. The image does go perfectly. Yeah. So I would say now is the time to get him, but I also wouldn't be surprised if his ADP falls. I think it's just as likely to fall in the coming weeks as it is to slide, especially with that news about him needing another surgery. Because that's, just to compare it again to Diggs, that's something we weren't hearing about Diggs last year. All right, let's jump into a big board. We can, of course, talk more. I'm going to do at least 2 drafts, but maybe a third. We will see. I'm going to count it down, entering in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. So, and I already mentioned it a bit, but tomorrow I'm going to do a stream again at like 1 to just about 3, do a couple drafts, and then I'm going to be going on Huhaim's channel, and we are going to be talking, I think in general about wide receivers, but specifically about like number 2s and their impact on certain number 1s. And also, I think we'll get to the point of the lack of true number 2s out there. So a lot of interesting things to talk about the wide receiver position. There's some good discussion in our Discord, speaking of which we have a free Discord you can sign up with. FK Coolers is dropping some charts talking about, the lack of deep ball passing and ADOT and what it's meant. And I think it, that also led into how few teams have like true number 2s that are, we can 100% point to. A lot more teams are going with like combo systems of 2, 3, 4s, kind of, Broncos being the extreme of that, where it could be a different guy any week. So, but there's actually more and more NFL teams kind of like that. or just where number twos didn't step up. Ravens being a perfect example. Like no number two receiver stepped up throughout the entire course of the year. So, all right, I'm in the 11th spot. We've got Legion in here at the 2, King QC at the 7, Minsu 8. I'm 11, and Hartman is in the 12th spot. Can't wait for next season because wide receivers beside the top 2 were so underwhelming for the most part. I agree with that. He'll be pick 180 soon. Yeah, I mean, he'll need new surgery. That I imagine is ADP, and he probably won't sign quickly. Like I would guess teams are going to just wait on him. Like more likely he ends up signing more this summer, like kind of what Keenan Allen did. That wasn't due to injury so much, but kind of waiting. Yeah, and we've talked about this. There's just so much depth at wide receiver in the mid and late tier, and some of these guys are going to fail because of region or draft pick moves. But there just feel like we got a lot of young guys in that range, like these second year guys, like albeit whether it's the Trey Harrises, the Teslas, the Torrey Hortons, Io Manor, DK, those guys like are all going to hit, probably not, but will some almost assuredly. All right, so I will pull up Justin Jefferson. I moved him up in my rankings to 13, so not really a big pull up now, but I do think he starts going at this turn, 11 through 13 range almost all the time, and I also think there's now kind of a gap between him and the next receivers. I think Pickens is close enough, but you can wait on Pickens. So I don't need to pull up Pickens there. And we're seeing Neighbors slide. We're seeing London slide more and more. So it was either I kind of knew, and I would have been fine if I had taken one of like Gentia Chain there and then gotten the other one, or Hampton if Hartman had taken Jefferson. But I do want some shares of Justin Jefferson because it sounds like he will actually get a quarterback this year. So all can be right with the world again. Yes. Yeah, this should be a fun one. Good luck to everyone. Tight end is similar. Like my best teams are when my last, 4 or 5 picks are all receiver and tight end. Where did you drop that chart on Fanspeak? I want to say it was in general, but I'd have to double check. Yeah, general channel, probably not too much growing up needed. Yeah, no, it was really good charts that FK had. And yeah, I think there's just a ton of different reasons for it. Definitely in quarterback play, and also we're seeing more and more like good passing quarterbacks either get pushed to the bench due to age, production, or injuries. Also some retirements in recent years. And then, I think you have another factor that's not even quarterback related is the lack of good quality offensive line coming out in college. I mean, I don't sit here and think CJ Stroud is a true top 10 quarterback, but I also think he is dramatically impacted by the lack of an offensive line for Houston. And there's, a handful of other guys like that as well, who their lack of offensive line talent. I mean, look at Caleb as a rookie. I think Ben Johnson did a lot for him. I think the added weapons of Burden and Loveland helped. But I do think having an offensive line was a big factor in his, sophomore improvement. And even while still an issue for the Patriots, like the Patriots go now and getting Morgan Moses, Will Campbell, Wilson, the other rookie, their offensive line went from, 30th to 24th, like it's still below average, I'd say, or has plenty of rooms of improvement, but just that kind of increase, I think, was huge for them. All right. Go ETN. This is kind of the opposite, where there is only one running back here, and even though Hartman maybe wouldn't have taken a third running back, I will take ETN there. So T-Mac and Higgins go. I will follow up with Devontae Adams. I'm much higher on him, but this is near his ADP as is. So Hampton, ETN, Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams. That's a pretty good start. ETN being a free agent. I still kind of project him going back to Jacksonville, but definitely more up in the air than some other situations. Got Stephen WC checking in. Good afternoon, everyone. Asking, ETN stay in Jax or somewhere else? So I've seen one Jacksonville beat reporter suggest that he's leaving, but most Jacksonville beat reporters I've read say the team really wants him back. Now, they're not going to franchise him. That doesn't make sense for them financially, but they're going to work on a deal to bring him back. So they do have, they're technically over the cap now, but they have ways to get under it, some with restructuring Lawrence and a few other quick restructures, some cuts, pretty obvious cuts. They do also have Devin Lloyd. I've heard Devin Lloyd is less likely to return, the interior linebacker, though they'd like him back as well. So I think they get something done with ETN. I mean, my take on it, I know Gladstone was always super high on Tootin and said that was his priority, but that was apparently never Liam Cohen's priority in the draft. And so and then I think that played out in the season. Like we saw, times where Liam Cohen would be asked about Tootin. It's not like he trashed him, but he also wasn't like, you look at the way that he talked about, say, Travis Hunter or other key players on the team, Trevor Lawrence, Brenton Strange, other guys, like not even rookies. And he just talked about them in much more glowing light. And then Tootin he got outsnapped by Quinn Allen. So I think if ETN's gone, my guess is they sign somebody else and maybe, Rico Dowdle or something like that. So I would just have a tough time believing that they just hand the keys over to Tootin. That's why I'm lower in Tootin currently. I do think ETN, outside of maybe going to Dallas, for instead of Javonte, I think ETN in Jacksonville is probably his best situation. I mean, one, the familiarity with Trevor Lawrence. They go back to college together, and he did really look great in Cohen's offense last year. So I would imagine that is a strong appeal for both sides to try and get something done. So coming up, my 5th, 6th round picks. And I could go quarterback here with one of them. We'll start with Mike Evans, though. I still like him in this range. So I feel like here I have options at receiver or quarterback that I feel pretty good about. I'm going to go. Quarterback's tempting, but I like. I'm going to go. Actually, I will go DK Metcalf. I mean, Metcalf had a fine year, particularly from per game perspective, considering, he was suspended the last 2 games. In total points, he finished 26th overall. So even here, we'd be getting him at a value. And that's, of course, with him being suspended. And then, just historically, Mike McCarthy's top receiver has been really good. And I understand that was generally with, all-pro Aaron Rodgers and Dak playing, both good in their prime. But I just feel like even most likely it's going to be downside of his career, Aaron Rodgers, but still better than more than a handful of teams' quarterback situations. And I think McCarthy will know how to utilize it. So I expect Metcalf. Steelers are obviously going to add in the receiver room, probably a couple. But I think Metcalf, with what they're paying him, is going to be the clear number one and can more than pay off that price. So I'm seeing it 0240. Legion, about to make 7th pick, is at 0321. King QC 1221. Minsu 1140. And Hartman 1230. So this is one of the highest I've seen Patrick Mahomes come up to pick 75. It wasn't the Rice drafter. Speaking of the Rice drafter, they've gone 6 receivers in a row. So let's see if they mix that up now. So definitely a little interesting to see Mahomes getting pulled up this much. So quarterbacks go. Not going to take Tootin. I will take a common non-guy share here. I think it's fair. Just knowing the Ben Johnson offense, I think there's enough upside still there. I think Tony Pollard is fine. We'll see if he gets replaced or not. So I'm going to pull up Xavier Worthy. I've said it before, didn't pay off the mid-40s ADP last year. Not entirely all his fault with the freak injury, even whether it's Rice, whether it's other receivers, whether Kelsey's back. I just think 86 seems like too low for a first-round pick, a guy who's flashed and shown upside and potential in what I think can be a really good offense. We saw it last year. It was a very good offense. And I just think going forward, regardless of the outcome of the Rice situation, I think Worthy can more than pay off mid-80s price. Steve, did you talk about what we're doing with Rice at the opening? I did. My quick thing is it does not sound good. In the NFL, and I think people need to keep in mind, the NFL has suspended quite a few people with the accused, the alleged victim offering no support, because it's been settled out of court or whatever. So none of that stuff, the fact that it's civil, it just does not seem good. I think the NFL is going to come down hard. They will do their due diligence and investigate, but if there's anything there, I think they come down hard, and I think there's even a chance that the Chiefs could cut him. So I have him way down in my ranks. I have him at 40 something in my ranks, and so far I don't think I have a single share. We'll probably get a share or two Yeah, but I'm expecting his ADP to fall with news like this coming out, and probably some follow up in the coming weeks. So I'm not going to be in a rush to take him now, because I think we're taking him probably at a ceiling ADP. And even if he somehow avoids all suspension, getting cut, anything, like, yes, I understand he was like 5th in points per game last year, but there's just no guarantee that he continues this, and there's just so much risk involved. So I think right now we're truly kind of taking him near his ceiling, just when you factor everything in. And I don't think that's a smart take right now to take much of him at his current ADP. Usually never go only here running back, just having to be a tier break for me every time I want a guy. Yeah, no, I get it, but it's good to, like you said, have that hero. And this is Aiden's team, Minso, for those who don't know. So, would love for Stafford to fall as well, but we will take Baker. Maybe he's not back. Mike Evans is not back in Tampa, but I still think that's the most likely outcome. So I'll take a shot there. Had I taken Sutton, I probably would have had the certainty to take Bo Nix there, but I definitely want plenty of Baker. Prior to last year, back-to-back top 10 fantasy years. So I feel really good about that. I will just pull up my guy, Emmett Johnson. Didn't think he was likely to come back to me in this room. So ends at 214 now. Fantasy Monster checking in. Get your guys. Hashtag get your guys. Absolutely. And yeah, that's what I said. KC cut prime Kareem Hunt in a situation similar, 100%. And Hunt didn't have other off the field baggage. So I would be very wary of the situation. Another thing, like, even if you're okay drafting him at his current ADP, I would be way low. I like the upside to be over the weight is just not there to me, because the downside, it's different situation, but it's like the people who last year thought Brandon Ayuk was a steal at value. It's only a steal if he's on the field. So let me check. So, and to wanted Goff to come back, Aiden for the Laporta stack, and ASB also. That is tough. Yeah. At least you already had 2 quarterbacks, though. But I get getting your third well stacked up. So Legion, after grabbing Casey Concepcion, 2351. In QC, got to make a pick at 1351 into 2341. I'm 145. Heart means 1351. So I will take Shaheed. I'm just ahead of him on that. I think he's a guy whose ADP is going to rise. I think he's going to get a pretty good contract somewhere. And I just think when it does, his ADP is very primed to rise. So I don't mind being a little bit ahead of it right now. And just wanted another receiver there. Definitely consider tight end. But I'm just generally okay waiting, particularly with some of the falls that we see. As much as like Mendoza, I will take Kyler Murray just to give a rushing upside to this team. Also, there's a real chance Kyler goes to Minnesota. If Aaron Rodgers does not come back, Kyler could go to Pittsburgh. So would have just a couple of outcomes there as well. Got the Giants and Eagles stack, but still. No, I mean, I get it. You know, you want it. And you had it set up perfectly with the double stack. But you have 7%. Yeah. Yeah, and I think we'll start to see him slide. So maybe you'll start getting some value. Watch Sibling Showdown playback. And I will say I'm firmly on Team Steve. I cannot pay this George Kittle price in February. Yeah, that's where I'm at. You know, not as extreme as the Tyreek situation, just because we at least know where he'll be, and not somebody who needs to be as full. You know, even if Kittle loses some of his explosiveness, he can still, you know, be a touchdown guy, be on the field due to his blocking. Even if he starts to transition to more like a second tier tight end. But yeah, though, when he's going in the 120s, even 130s, I'm just out. And just with the other tight ends going in that range. And then, you know, like this is like why I don't know why Kittle was off the board. I mean, Sadiq gets a rookie, but Juwan Johnson, we saw we did last year. Hunter Henry, Mark Andrews, and Strange, who just went. Travis Kelce, I mean, there's still a retirement risk, but just these guys are going to play. You know, Kelce being the one question mark. So I just have a tough time drafting Kittle at any sort of volume above those guys. And many are in similar age range. It's not like Kittle is 26 coming off this injury. Price for phone doesn't look the best for people. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the good news is, and I've said it before, I will say being a little bit more risky in these drafts is fine, just because more people are having, you know, dead roster spot players. We'll go Daniel Jones. Let's get a third quarterback. Actually, no. Let's get Hunter Henry. At least one tight end I feel relatively good about. I'll keep on my point after Hartman makes this pick because he takes my guy Elijah Surratt. That is nice. To go DJ, you know, maybe I'm a sucker, but I'm just gonna keep going to the Kelce well. But you know, in the same reason why I'm okay taking Kelce in this range, just with 20 round drafts, and at this point, there's just so many guys who are gonna end up being bad picks. Where, you know, when we get to July and August, we have so much information, we can more accurately assess it. I mean, look, there are still people taking Brandon Ayuk and stuff like that, but the Brandon Ayuk miss in February and March last year when he was going 70th was actually less hurtful than the Brandon Ayuk miss when he was going 110. Or same argument with Anthony Richardson, same argument with Joe Mixon, same, anything. Even the 40-50 pick difference is if you and I had plenty of Joe Mixon, but if you took Joe Mixon in July when he was going 90 and you're thinking, oh, maybe I'm getting a value, guess what? You're still one of the few guys who took a dead roster spot. But the people taking Joe Mixon at 40, most of the people in this 12-person draft, including me, are going to have probably at least one totally dead roster spot. For me, maybe it's Kelsey. Maybe it's somebody who gets injured. Maybe it's a rookie I take who just never does anything. Look at the Elijah Arroyo and Terrence Ferguson picks last year, and they were second rounders. They get second round capital. Just not good picks because they never got on the field. I'm okay being a little risk averse, a little risky, but it is something of, there are certain guys who I look at it and just the price is too much. And right now, Kittle's one of those, Tyreek's one of those. But I do hope I can get some Kittle especially. So coming up, I'm seeing at 2562. So, I think it's one of the Indiana guys, Surratt or Cooper. It would not shock me if Cooper ends up being the higher drafted player. I do think Surratt has more just fantasy value. Like, he is a touchdown maker. Let me finalize my tight end room. Schultz or Hawk, either one feel good. But so I lean to Surratt and just, 3 years of production. I just feel like, I think Cooper's pretty NFL ready. I think Surratt's even more NFL ready. And there's just going to be less ramp up to his game. I will go DK. But I truly am not going to be surprised if Cooper ends up being taken above him. I just took my first Ayuk share. That's a guy, when he eventually signs somewhere, and I'm sure his ADP will rise because of it, maybe I'll start clicking, but I just don't know if that guy wants to play football. Oof. Yeah, no, I think it's fine where he's going. I just, I know most people time to Washington. That's probably his best landing spot because he is a college quarterback. The GM is a former San Francisco guy, so maybe he can help motivate him, but oh boy. He's went 139 in this draft. Again, after he signs, even if he goes up a little bit, I'm okay. Another guy I can't imagine going up a massive amount. Boom says it's Cooper for now, Mega in a month, it'll be Surratt. Yeah, I think their ADPs will flip. Jane Daniels in here. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes much more sense. Washington is going to have to add at least 2 receivers. I expect one in free agency, one in the draft. Now, the priority of that, they might go for more minor free agent. I've heard different things. Some people still expect Ayuk to get good money. It's just like not long-term guaranteed. It's going to be like a year-by-year sort of thing. So maybe that'll be enough to motivate him. We'll see, though. He left a lot of guaranteed money on the table. And what's crazy is, and you never see this, he did not have the union fight for him. The union fights for these guys going to jail and charged with heinous crimes, which is their job. I'm not knocking it, but like that's the position that they're forced into. And Brandon Ayuk was like, nah, I just don't want to show off. Absolutely wild to me. You never see that. We got Terrence checking in. I can't think of a worse landing spot for Ayuk. From what they do, I agree. I mean, I think there are some other teams similar, but yeah, like Steelers, I've seen that tied to. I just don't see him a good fit for Pittsburgh. Definitely not for Mike McCarthy, and definitely not for Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is back. He will not see the field if he goes to Pittsburgh. So let's see here. My running back situation at Hampton, Etienne, Nangai, and Emmett Johnson. I am going to take Emmanuel Wilson first. I still just think he's very likely to have the number 2 role for Green Bay. So that feels good. And might double tap a running back here. Where's the quarterback at? Theoretically, I have JJ McCarthy. Yeah, I'll take Caleb. I don't have a ton. I'll take a shot. But I think if you want to get the most out of Ayuk, something's got to money's not motivating him. Winning isn't motivating him. So fame and fortune isn't motivating you. What will? Problem was he was going to shine there. Like, it wasn't too crowded. They moved on from Debo. I have Jawan Jennings there. Jawan Jennings has been a fine replacement player and showed that he could definitely start in this league, but Ayuk should have been starting well above him. And then this year, both Jennings and Pearsall go down. They're signing Demarcus Robinson, who they knew was going to be suspended. They brought in Booty off the street, not Keyshawn Booty, Bourne off the street. They had MVS for a minute. He had every opportunity in San Francisco. I mean, if he ends up with early second round draft capital, he could go in the 130s. And I don't know if the buzz will reach that high before the draft. I think there will be buzz. I would guess it's more, closer to 150. But, we'll see. Maybe if more and more people start putting them in first round category, because I think, like I said, I think Dane Brugler is ranked 27th overall. Maybe more people do that. We'll see it. Ayuk to Washington would be fun, and seems like he gets his wish. AJ Brown gets traded away. Does Philly pursue Ayuk? Pats would be awesome. I just don't know if those teams, look, there's a lot of receivers with big egos out there. It's always been that way, for years, for decades. The problem is, I definitely don't see the Pats. I don't think Mike Vrabel would go that. Now, could Mike Vrabel go after A.J. Brown again via trade? That would be interesting. Obviously their time together at Tennessee, and he was not happy when A.J. Brown got dealt away, if you all remember that video of the draft day. So let's throw a quarterback on this. And this, I already have some Mariota shots, so probably won't go there. It's crazy, but I'm gonna do Geno. I do think if the Vikings miss out on, if it doesn't work out with Cousins, if they don't go Kyler, maybe Malik Willis, like Geno's probably in their top 5. His deep ball ability, Kevin O'Connell, I think there would be enough there for a year, but I'm not too excited about Geno, that's for sure. I already have a good chunk of Jeremy Bernard, but don't have a lot of rookies in this, so I think I'm going to take another Jeremy Bernard shot. We got Alan Boogie checking in. What up, people? You're doing well. You and Terry are both well-rounded wide receivers. Please don't draft them. Omega King Boog. Yep. We got Kelly checking in. May is just a jerk in town. It's not worth the hassle. Well, that's why I just don't know if Ayuk's going to go to teams. Philly is maybe, part of the reason they trade away AJ Brown is they can't keep this guy happy. Is Philly going to want to bring in another guy who couldn't be happy in San Francisco? When the team invested in him over Debo, that seems weird. I'll never forget. Yeah, that was not a good day for Tennessee fans, and definitely not a good day for Vrabel. Terrence, yeah, I've been assuming Kirk goes back, but I do think Kyler would be interesting. I think they'll explore it. Kyler, I do think you're going to trade for. I don't think Arizona just cuts him like the Dolphins will have to cut Tua. But we'll see where he goes. But I think Vikings should hopefully be on his short list, and I think he's the top quarterback available, and that it just kind of shows. With Daniel Jones most likely going back to the Colts as well. It definitely shows the state of the quarterback situation. But Kirk makes the most sense. But if Kevin O'Connell's just done with JJ McCarthy, they could bring Kyler in for sure. Kyler needs to go back to quarterback school. I mean, yes, I also just think he just needs to be in a better system. Like the system with Drew Petzing and under Jonathan Gannon just did not work, And I know there's an injury involved also, but you look at Kyler with Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler since Cliff Kingsbury, and we're talking a night and day difference. Could some of that be that, when he tore up his knee? Sure. But I think a lot of it was system related because honestly, and early in Kyler's career with Kingsbury, he had Hopkins, but even after that, he was still fine. The bigger issue, they actually have had more weapons now, I mean, these last couple of years, Marv and McBride, and then of course the emergence of Wilson, and it just didn't work out well. Kyler would be rough for Addison. I do think it would be a slight ding for Addison, though. If Hawkinson's getting traded, it might just be a 2-man situation in Minnesota. Doesn't Brian Flores hate Tua? Yeah, I mean, but he is solely in charge of the defense for the Vikings. Though I don't think the problem for Kevin O'Connell is I don't think you can bring in Tua, a guy who's just chronically injured, to help support a guy who's chronically injured. JJ McCarthy has played 2 years in the league and has had 3 injuries and didn't even play a lot. So that's not great for McCarthy. So I just don't see Tua fit in Minnesota. That I think is the least likely. If you were the Vikes GM, would you say if an offer first for Mac Jones sounds ridiculous, but your roster is about to win now and you've seen Mac get rehabbed like Darnold Dimes? Excuse me, 1 second. So I think the issue is they've just yes, I think it's going to take something like that for the 49ers to move on. But even if you're offering next year's, because this year's first is just, the middle of the draft, coming off there, disappointing. Still, they still were 9-8, but maybe you could say next year's first. I don't know. I just feel like that is a very high price to pay. And while I do think Mac Jones has rehabilitated his career, like Darnold, Dimes, Mayfield, all these guys, there's no guarantee that that's sticky. And like he looked good, but he had plenty of games where he wasn't great. Like he was still just average-ish at best. And they won because, Kyle, but like Chris McCaffrey or, something like that. Like that Falcons game when I think it was a Sunday Night Football game, and Christian McCaffrey just dominated that game. He had like 200 some total yards. The defense played really well despite all their defensive issues, and some of it was Penix was just playing bad. But Mac Jones was not impressive that game. So I think while Jones could be very well rehabilitating his future and next year could be in line for a quarterback job, I don't know. Like that just seems like a high price to pay when the Vikings they have other holes and needs. But I get it. They're desperate. Yeah. The Tua Brian Flores arrangement did not go well. We got Huckleberry checking in. Vikings have no money. They need it right. They don't, but similar to like the Chiefs, and they're in a better situation than the Chiefs. They have a lot of guys they can restructure, a couple guys they can cut, like Hawkinson, probably maybe Javon Hargrave, maybe Aaron Jones. So I think they will end up with a decent cap situation. Could they take on like a true top of market deal? No, and that's why trading for Kyler could be interesting, because the Cards are going to be on the hook for a little bit of that from the guaranteed money standpoint. Nuheem says maybe you bring in Tua and Frankenstein a healthy quarterback. Maybe. You don't know. Yeah. More big board time. So how do people feel about jumping in a war room? I was going to do a war room. Let me know in chat. Aside from Mac Jones, seems like Kirk, Carr, out of retirement, Geno, rehab, Kenny Pickett. Yeah, I actually think they could go Kyler. I think they can find money for a Kyler, even a Malik Willis. I wouldn't be surprised if those are on the short list as well. Yeah, Patriots traded Mac Jones for 6 couple years. He's definitely improved. I think for sure a team would offer a third for him. I don't know if I don't think the 49ers would take a third for Mac Jones right now. Williams is doing his war room later. I'm fine doing them later on my own as well, but just wanted to throw it out there. If anyone was interested in a war room, let me know in chat. And I think I'm caught up on comments now. Let me go into wrong thing. That last draft, and I'll go over the other teams real quick. Legion 3683, Rock, Bo, Mendoza. So feel good about those 3 quarterbacks. Chase Brown, Swift, Judkins, then adding Katron Allen, Mike Washington Jr., and Jordan James late, Puka, AJ Brown, Ricky P, Michael Pittman Jr., Concepcion, Calvin Ridley, Tank, Dell, and Devon Vele, and then Tyler Warren, Strange, Tanja. So, I think quarterback room, super strong. Running back, like 3 early to anchor and then 3 late, including taking some rookie shots. So I think that makes sense. Wide receiver room, strong up top, with Puka and AJ Brown. I think Pearsall's a great value. I think Pittman's a pretty decent value as well. Definitely a couple question marks, like where's Ridley end up? I think he gets cut. Is Tank Dell back? But you got him at value. You got him 20 pick discount. So No, I think it's a solid all around team, and like Purdy stacked up, and very well could end up with one of these guys like Concepcion or Calvin Ridley going there after getting cut to the Raiders or something like that. But I don't overly worry about stacking right now. King QC goes 3-6-9-2. May, Darnold, Jacoby Brissett, Bucky, Travion, Jadarian Price, Rashard White, Kamani Vidal, Ray Davis. So, like one clear-cut starter, Travion and Price, like young upside talent there. Rashard White, free agent, but easily could be a top 2 back somewhere. Kamani Vidal, probably number 2 back for Chargers, and then Ray Davis. So a lot of handcuff value here late. If Price gets a starting role, this team should be fine at running back. JSN, JMO, I like Pierce, Juwan Jennings, Coker, kind of is the core of the receiver room, and then taking some shots on some other guys and going 9 with a couple of the New England guys, Torrey Horton, Hollywood Brown. Let's see where he ends up. And then 2 tight end, Trey McBride, Dallas Goedert. Then Minso, 3-7-7-3, Hurts, Dart, tacked on McCarthy late. Kyron, Hubbard, Kenneth Gainwell, Woody Marks, Taj Spears, Brian Robinson, and then Adam Randall. So kind of like a anchor running back, as you mentioned, and then took 7 to help balance that out. 7 receivers with Amon-Ra, Neighbors, Devonta, Watson. So 4 like core guys, and then 3 others to add in Downs, McMillan, Slayton, and Laporta, Likely, and Freiermuth. So nice like tight end room, mid-tier Laporta, Likely, and Freiermuth later. But a lot to work with there. And then Hartman's team, 3-6-8-3, Burrow, Bryce Young, Aaron Rodgers, Achane, Genty, so double anchor, and then came back with Jonah Coleman, J.K. Dobbins, Aaron Jones, Isaiah Davis, T-Mac, T. Higgins, Jordan Tyson, Steph Diggs, Debo Samuel, Elijah Surratt, Cooper Kupp, Ted Hurst. Really like that balance at receiver room, like rookies, vets, just good balance there. Even if it takes, Tyson, who I'm very high on, but if it takes time for Tyson and Surratt, like your wide receiver room is going to be more than fine with T-Mac, Higgins, Diggs, Debo, and Cooper Kupp. And then, Kraft, and then 2 later tight ends in Hawkinson and Otten. So, no, I think that all makes a lot of sense. So let's get into another draft. It's close to filling, so I think I would do that. Huheim's, no, didn't sign up for an investor program. I did see that. I need to look into that. Gainwell goes to 0 apart from Rodgers. Tricky pick. Possibly, though. I think there are a few teams who could utilize him the same way. I think his path is a little tougher for sure. And his ADP is in a range, like you'd like his ADP to be more like Rashard White's, where if White ends up in a bad situation, you spend pick 160 on it. Where if Gainwell ends up in a bad situation, you're spending pick 120-ish, is the way I look at it. But there's upside in path, and he was more valuable than a lot of other guys last year. Got sniped and Goff, and then receivers in the range didn't care for. So you might need some luck for Gainwell to pay off there, but it's at least possible. So I think I am going to jump into a war room, or let's see. Maybe it's like nobody's in there and it's not going to fill. I got 2 to go. So this is $25, 2 of 12, 2 of 10, 2 of 10, 30-seat final, and top prize being $20K. So I'm going to jump into a war room. I'm going to count down, enter in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. Oh, so it is filled. I was going to say if I'm like the first one in here, and it takes a while, then maybe it would jump out, but it filled. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like anyone got in. I know, maybe a couple of you would have jumped in. I recognize some of these names, but I'm not sure if anyone's in chat. Feel free to say hi. I got the second pick. Arvin asks, have you been getting into the PGA streets at all off stream? I did like 1 or 2 drafts last week. I'll probably do a couple tonight. Haven't done any on stream. I do want to start doing some on stream. I have been listening to like Candyman and a few other people. I do want to start getting in PGA more. I've definitely been doing baseball. That's been off stream. But I do want to do a couple of those on stream as well. So I got the second pick. It's pretty easy for me. Bijan or Gibbs. Yeah, that did kind of work out. So I guess the room was just about to fill. And Puka goes. So I will take Bijan at the 102. And then I think I will do a third draft. So I'll get back in the big board after this. I appreciate all the discussion and support. And as I mentioned before, we have a free Discord. You can jump in. Also, of course, the 1-year subscription on Substack for single price. You can support us by becoming a YouTube member. We appreciate all your support and honestly just really enjoy the chat and drafting together and having good fun football discussion. So I don't need to see Hartman. Maybe I keep saying when I'm going to do baseball, maybe Friday I'll do, I don't know, maybe I'll do 2 separate streams. I don't know. Or maybe this weekend. I don't need to figure it out. Because I probably want to do just a solo like baseball stream and maybe like 2 streams, but have them broken up. So if somebody's just for baseball, they can just watch that. And, somebody's just there for NFL, like they're not need to watch the baseball stream. So maybe I'll find a day where I can do 2 different streams or something along those lines. So nothing too shocking in first round. I mean, ASB, one of the higher that I've seen them, but I actually think it's very defensible. The guy has finished as wide receiver 3 the last 3 years, so why don't you take him as wide receiver 3? Seems like a pretty solid process. Don't see that changing too much. I'm doing that exact thing today, and I don't know baseball at all. Okay. When are you streaming 2 games? Kicks checking in. Baseball is fun. We're getting into that. Yeah. Baseball would be interested in thoughts on if Connor Griffin makes a roster out of spring training. I haven't seen the latest. My guess is he doesn't. It just doesn't generally, you can still, because you can get like pick benefits and stuff by getting like a rookie of the year, and they can still wait a little bit of time. So I haven't read the latest. I've heard he's just destroying it at Pirates camp. Problem is, of course, the Pirates are not expected to be a contender, even though they have the best, the best or second best, depending on him versus Google. Young pitcher in Paul Skynes, and then now the best prospect in Connor Griffin is absolutely crazy. And the Pirates have a ton of young talent, so they are going to be fun. I think I've taken Connor Griffin one time. His ADP is just in a weird spot for me. I don't want 0 of him. just because, I think there's a chance even if he's not breaking camp opening day, he's there May 1st and it's just rocking it. Like, that guy does look to be the real deal. That's for sure. So Jeremiah Love goes. I will take George Pickens here. And so Bijan Pickens, I mean, that's definitely not unique. Not that I'm trying to get unique in, with only having 4 shots at this war room. I will go Josh Jacobs. I don't see him not being back in Green Bay. That's my take. Kicks, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate all your support. So thank you so much. Who he saying 4 p.m. with Steph, then 8 p.m. baseball with Updog. Nice. I definitely want to hear your conversation with Steph, and I'll try and check in baseball as well. And Aiden saying the Pirates actually spent money this offseason to definitely be a wild card. I think they're absolutely trying. They need to, and they should be. I mean, they're going to have a solid pitching staff, mainly because Paul Skeins, but bullpen should be decent. They, added, Hearns, Ozuna, who was the other guy? Lowe. So they're, to go along with guys like Reynolds and Cruz. And Cruz is a guy, I mean, he batted pretty poorly last year, like average-wise. But he still had, 20 home runs, 30 stolen bases, like so much fantasy potential. If he can become a 240 hitter, a 250 hitter, he is. I just took him in a couple slow drafts today. And also for those who know underdog baseball, like definitely prioritize outfielders. Outfield eligibility is so key, I feel like. Yeah, Jones also. Walk it down, Steve. Yeah. No, that is their rotations should be solid. Bullpen, like Pirates could be fun. And in terms of the Central, like Cubs are good, but Brewers are rebuilding. Cardinals are rebuilding. Reds can be fine. Reds have a lot of young talent as well, but Pirates can make some noise. How much research is needed to draft 5 teams if I only know Tigers players? Tigers are another team trying to take a run at it this year, adding some weapons to go along with school. I will say, like, I don't draft as much as I love these players in real life. Like, top end pitching is just overpriced in baseball for me. We talked about some in Discord, FK especially, and Mike Robb. I just have a really tough time paying the high prices. I would, this being a big board or a war room, I have no problem pulling up DeAndre Swift here. I want to have a very strong running back room. Outfield is the key. Don't worry, Ryan. We'll get back to football. But I will say, like, baseball, a lot of it is. Wait, let me make this pick. You know what? No. We'll take more. I was going to take Mike Evans because I wanted a second receiver, but there's a chance he'd fall back to me. No need to reach here and having an alpha quarterback feels good. Scoobles is a bad way to come out. Yeah, it's more like if you do take an elite pitcher, like I would treat it like, like an anchor running back. Like take one and then don't take another for a long time. So yeah, we'll definitely do a baseball show soon, maybe a couple. So, but yes, back to the football talk. So I'm sitting here, Lamar, 3 running backs, Bijan, thank God it's not Brian Robinson with the second overall pick, Bijan, Josh Jacobs, and DeAndre Swift, and George Pickens. Just wasn't anyone I needed in that receiver range. I like the rookies, but I have plenty of exposure to them. And Lamar, I am expecting quite the bounce back. We know his upside is just off the charts. Like him and Allen are the 2 quarterbacks we feel the best about, and you're getting a nice little discount versus him versus Allen. Yeah, Lamar is already picking the 5th there. Feels good. Get Bateman too. Especially this, the playoff format, the 2-10, but it's 2-12 out of the first round, so slightly, a little worse than big board. So I definitely want more certainty in this draft. Like what I talked about before about everyone is taking some risk. Everyone's going to have some dead players. I want to minimize that as much as possible. Like getting the upside of a guy because they're banged up or unknown situation. Like I probably won't take Travis Kelce in the war room just because, well, there's plenty of upside there. Even that 5% risk of him retiring or whatever it is just doesn't make as much sense in the war room versus the big board. Still am likely to wait more in tight end overall, but this range is not a good range for me. I need a receiver. Don't really like a lot on the board. So let's take Ricky P. No running back I'd take there. Could take a second earlier quarterback to feel better about it. Don't particularly love it. Don't love tight end. I have a weird area receiver, but I would take Alec Pierce. I think he's being underdrafted right now. Pierce with him most likely to go back to the Colts. I think there's a chance they move on from Pittman, but even not, like we saw him to be very, very good. He finished as wide receiver 24 overall last year and even better in points per game. So, I think, and that was, of course, with the second half of that year, or not second half, but the last third of that year, not having Daniel Jones. So I am fine betting on Alec Pierce. And if he does leave, there's a lot of good landing spots that he could pay off at. So, I'm not going to be too concerned about Alec Pierce at this time, just especially for a young receiver who's honestly been really good, been way more consistent, like than say a Wandale or other than that. I wouldn't love it as a landing spot. He could end up in Baltimore. Baltimore reportedly is looking for some serious wide receiver help. I don't know if I believe that I'll end up there, but there's at least a chance. more I think about it, let's say like Marv or BTJ versus Lemon could be a big decision. I get the Lemon hype, I love him, but both of the other receiver year 3 could be a smash after bad years. I mean, I did talk about this in the show last week where we are these third-year receivers, because they essentially all failed last year. I feel like we've overcorrected. Like they're all going around 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds later in some game. I mean, BTJ was a first rounder. He's now going to pick 60, 60 plus. So we've probably overcorrected on a number of them. That's why, in the last draft I pulled Worthy up, because I feel like we're just overcorrecting for these third-year receivers from what was a great wide receiver class. Many are in good spots with good quarterbacks, not necessarily young, but BTJ with Lawrence, like we don't know the Cardinals situation yet, but Lad with Herbert. I'm on the clock. I need to make my pick. I would take Steph Diggs. I know there's a little risk there, but this is at his price. Britton Price would be on my short list if it comes back. I'm probably going another quarterback here. Yeah, okay. I get Purdy. Where I want to go. Yeah, let me go Purdy here. But Purdy and Pearsall, another one, like many of those third-year receivers, Odunze with Caleb, we like the quarterbacks that they have, right? We like the offensive systems that they're in. So I think we have overcorrected. I completely agree with that. Now, at the same time, I think Lemon has plenty of outs to just hit the ground running as a rookie. So I kind of want all those guys. I was really down on BTJ in my latest rankings. I moved him back up a little bit. I probably will keep doing so. I just have a tough time because, and slightly same for the Arizona thing, is I don't like when the prices are so clearly wrong right now. Like the Cardinals, if McBride is, pick 15, worth pick 15, then, and Wilson's worth pick 70 something, then Marv's wrong. Now, maybe Marv's the right one and those others are wrong. That's very possible as well. But I like it more when the prices are, I consider prices to be efficient when the team as a whole is priced correctly. That's not easy. There's generally a lot of issues, and particularly now this early. But that's a situation where they're not likely to add any passing weapons. Like they're going to add a quarterback, but they're not likely to add any passing weapons. So theoretically, they should be priced efficiently. But it feels like they're not. And kind of same with the Jags. Like they have Parker Washington 70-something, BTJ like 60-something, Parker Washington 70-something, Jacoby Myers 80-something, then throwing Hunter in the 140s, and Strange even in the middle, because this is a team that does utilize tight end. It's not like a team that doesn't utilize tight end at all. It's like there's just, those prices are just wrong. Like tight end can still pay off, even if on lower volume, just with touchdowns, stuff like that. But it's just, I hate those teams that we just see are inefficient. Like, for instance, like the Bucks are a little inefficient, but at least you can point to, well, the Evans question mark, the Cade Otton question mark. Now, if Evans comes back, then I want to see these prices adjust. Like I want to see Mbuka go down. I want to see Jalen McMillan go down. But so I can at least understand the inefficiency in the price because there's an uncertainty involved. Teams like the Jags and Cards don't have that uncertainty near as much. And just to finish up this point, the discount you get on Marvin BTJ feels really good, even if they're somewhat revert to the mean. Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely want pieces of them. Like I originally started low on Marv, I moved him up. I've started low on BTJ, I moved him up. I absolutely want pieces on both for that reason entirely. Oh boy, This is not a fun range. I'm just gonna take Darnold. I want a good third quarterback that I can rely on, easily can backstack. And we'll see if I can get my guy Emma Johnson back. Nope, that was a big mistake. Right, I overplayed myself that time. I'm gonna take Debo. I feel there's a better floor ceiling combo for Debo than some of these other guys. But I'm just frustrated myself for not taking Emma Johnson first. I figured the turn was taking a quarterback, and they did in Shuck, and maybe, I just like Darnold more. I could sneak Emma Johnson through. Did not work. Mike Rob asking, so when does Jeopardy training start? That's a good question. Need to get with Bruni. See when we're gonna do Jeopardy. Might do a couple different rounds of it, but yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Right, for both BJ, more is too many mouths to feed, and then yeah. So it's and this is, like I said, like it could just be that's the right price or the price you're getting the most value, and the others are wrong. Absolutely could be for both, and that's why I do need to get more of both for that reason. Like a good, fairly efficiently priced team, I actually think is the Chargers, because you have Ladd, early to mid 30s, Gadsden and QJ in the like 90 to 120-ish range, Trey Harris in the 170, 180 range. Just, to me, very efficiently priced. And it's like, even if it's a carbon copy of last year and Trey Harris is taking over 80% of the Keenan Allen role, well, he's a clear smash value. QJ's a slight value. Gadsden's probably a value. And Ladd could even be a value if a few things more break his way. And then there's just so many ways that situation can get better with Mike McDaniel, with the offensive line. If Keenan Allen is gone, like the only way it's bad is if Keenan Allen comes back. And even then, it's probably mainly bad for QJ and probably a little bit for Ladd, but it's not the same as it was last year. And then, it's probably bad for Trey Harris. So I like teams like that I feel are just much more efficiently priced. And right now it makes sense. Like there's so few teams, like there's so many teams where they're adding a receiver, whether it's a free agent, whether it's a draft pick. Like we know the Saints are going to add somebody. We know Washington's adding somebody, Steelers, et cetera, et cetera. Green Bay is another one, probably not going to add anyone. I think they're decently efficiently priced with Watson where he's going, Kraft where he's going, and then kind of a Golden and Reed in a similar situation. All right, so I got my 3 quarterbacks. Take Romeo Doubs. I think he gets a nice little landing spot. Another guy who could end up in Baltimore. Speaking of Baltimore, let me get my stack here. Went double tight end, so got a little worried seeing that, but got Mark Andrews. Definitely always consider this range of running back, but did want the Andrews Lamar stack for this team. Doubs may have been a luxury pick, but I wanted to feel good about it. Then I'll probably wait till like the last 2 rounds for my final 2 receivers. Like this, I have 2 war rooms going right now, and I've definitely taken some rookies, but this one I think I'm going to be less reliant on rookies, unless I just get a great price on them. Steve, when you rank players, I know it's so many metrics, moving parts, etc. going on. what do you weigh most when drafting? Situation, type of offense, age, high volume pass offenses. So, and people who follow me probably know I probably weigh age the least, just because while the age cliff hit a little bit more last year than we've seen in recent years, just so many guys, but honestly not. I mean, Devontae Adams finishes wide receiver 8 last year, and that's missing 3 games. Steph Diggs came back. As I mentioned, he was wide receiver 18. Keenan Allen was great for where we were taking him, et cetera, et cetera. So I probably weigh age the least, just because this is not dynasty. This is not keeper league. Like, all I care about is, can Mike Evans play this year? Can Steph Diggs play this year? Like, that's Mark Andrews, et cetera. So for me, it's mainly role, but also fantasy valuable role. So guy who can score touchdowns, I'm going to value more. Like Mike Robb jokes, he's a Ravens fan, and I've just always been down on Zay Flowers. And, like, I should adjust, like Zay Flowers finished, if you count week 18, I think wide receiver 7. But at the same time, leading into the fantasy playoffs through 13 weeks, he was like wide receiver 20th. I think he just had an amazing week 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 run. And yeah, that counts, that matters. But at the same time, it's like he just ran pure on touchdowns late in the year. Is that sticky? He's just never had a big red zone role that doesn't project to be his game, etc. So touchdowns, I'm going to value touchdowns more than anything, just because, for an instance, actually, in terms of total points, Michael Pittman actually outproduced Alec Pierce by like 1 point. Why? He had more touchdowns. He had more catches, more touchdowns, but Pierce had like 300 more yards, 250 plus. So I'm on the clock. I should pay more attention. AJ Barner, get my second tight end, get a second stack, and then I'm going to grab one of these running backs. So definitely type of offense, role in the offense is key. Well, I'm not taking a lot of rookies. I will take Katron Allen here. I feel that's a good price. I know that's where he's going now, but I feel it's a reasonable, good price, and there's some upside. So, and for an instance, like a guy in a great offense who is in a more murky situation, like say a Khalil Shakir, going to pick around 100. So it's also like the opportunity. I also weigh the opportunity cost, like the level of production and talent of like Khalil Shakir and Zay Flowers isn't huge. Now, Zay Flowers they both can be the number 1 on their team, all that, but of course Shakir goes lower. So I do weigh like, where can I get that similar kind of value? Now, like I said, Zay Flowers did end up with the great run out at the end of the year, made him worthwhile, was a strong playoff performer. So he paid off. It's just, you're still taking that guy at pick 40 something last year, where you could get similar overall production at pick 90, pick 100, so many guys. Now, I view less about like the playoff format, because we just don't know. Like what I just mentioned about Zay Flowers, that easily could have been his week 1 through, because he was wide receiver 1 in week 1. That could have been his 1 through 6 run out, and then he just tanks the rest of the way. Like there's just no guarantee when those kind of guys can go on a good run or have string together 2, 3, 4 good games. And sometimes they don't string them together. They just have those games throughout the course of the season. So I look at offense, I look at role, I look at fantasy upside potential, mainly via touchdown. And yeah, I try and do it all together and then look at the the type of player. And that's, for instance, just because it's available, like why is Emmanuel Wilson, I have him ranked 179. I think he's clear number 2 back on his team. Why is he going 207? At one point he's going like 230. Just didn't make sense to me. Another one here, like Cooper Kupp. Like, why is he going so late? I will go tight end here because I don't want to be totally devoid. So I'll take Dalton Schultz. I've went late tight end. Have 3 guys I feel pretty good about. This pick at 17th round. My rank, I think I will go Cooper Kupp or Horton if he's there. Just part of the stack and, just enough value. Kupp, I feel, is a better floor. Horton, some more ceiling. I will go Kupp. Just, I care a bit more about floor in this. And just to finalize this, the volume is important, quite a bit. And that's the other knock, and not just to keep dunking on Zay Flowers, but the Ravens generally throw the ball one of the least in the league. I think they're 32nd last year. I think they're even Lamar's MVP years. He's an MVP due to his just incredible efficiency. Like, it's not volume. Though, who knows? It could obviously change now with the whole new coaching staff. Mike saying, I'm going to be big this year on third-year lad with new OC and competent quarterback play. And yeah, that's where it's like all the pieces are potentially together with the OC, Keenan Allen probably moving on, O-line much better. We know Herbert has the ability to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Now all the pieces should be there. Yeah, the storyline of McNair doing great with Chargers year 1, then gain a head coaching gig in 2027 feels like ratings on the wall. One thing I will say, there's obviously will be some, but was having so many head coaching openings this year, how many will be available next year? This year we had a couple surprises with the Mike Tomlin, Harbaugh, and the Bills coach name is keeping me. All I can think is Joe Brady. That's obviously a new coach, and Sean McDermott. And where next year maybe there's a surprise. Of course you could have a team like Panthers or Bucks. They miss the playoffs. I think we know Aaron Glenn is very much on the hot seat, but they're probably, I would guess there's 5 or under next year. So not as many jobs, but McDaniel should be near the top of the list. Steve also it's in his rankings how to hurt his followers emotionally the most. And hey, to be fair, I'm way ahead of rankings on Mark Andrews and Derrick Henry. So it's just Zay. But really, why am I ahead of them? Because they're touchdown upside. And that's truly what it boils down to. Don't think I'll go wide receiver here. Running back. Yeah, probably should have taken one last time. Not focused on the stack. Take Naj. Not as much certainty here at the bottom of the list as I was hoping for. We'll go Devin Neal. Blame my rock. You're going to warm up to Zay just in time for Baltimore and bring in a wide receiver torch. Yeah, no, I mean, this is the highest I've been on Zay in 2 years. And they're going to go sign Alec Pierce or Mike Evans or something, or trade up in the draft for Carnell Tate and just totally, yeah, make me feel like an idiot. Zay was great. If you could get to the playoffs, he was a smash. Yeah. And it's one of those things, like, I really like Zay Flowers as a player. I think he's a fun, good wide receiver too. Can do a lot of nice things, get open, move the chains. I really enjoy watching him play. I just don't see massive touchdown upside. Jokes on UFK. Ravens suck at getting wide receivers in their prime. Always about who gets dusty the moment he puts on a Ravens jersey. Well, see, that's the thing. They could go Mike Evans and still have that mentality, but he's actually so good that he could actually play well. It sounds a lot like the Titans I know all too well, the retirement home. Yeah, I'll be interested to see what the Titans do at wide receiver. Potentially could draft one with their first round pick. They're bringing Ward in more weapons. They absolutely have to. Or do they go a vet? Coolers, myself, and Saul were chatting last night, and I brought up some stats we looked at through fantasy points. Cup popped way more than expected. Yeah, and the other thing that I have with Cup is we just saw it in the Super Bowl, and I know Horton was injured and everything, but it's like when chips were down, yeah, and not that they were down, but when they needed them, they went to Cooper Kupp. And I could just see, Cooper Kupp and his money is now guaranteed. Like, he's not getting cut. He's not getting traded. He's not retiring or nothing along those lines. So he's back. And I could just see him being more of a chain mover this year. And, JSN still being so freaking good and so elite. But it's also, is JSN going to maintain this like 40% target? His target share is just off the charts. And very few receivers. I think he's going to massively lead the team in targets. I think he is going to even be top 10 in the league in target share. But I want to say he was number one, and by I didn't look at the final numbers. I'll admit that. Like, I saw it a couple weeks before the end of the season, and he just had this ridiculous lead in target share. Do I go Bateman? That is the question. I don't think I have to, since I have Mark Andrews. Might just go with a rookie like Jeremy Bernard. I take him a lot. I think I will do it. I don't have any rookie receivers, so let me take the Jeremy Bernard shot. Sorry, Mike. I use Zay Flowers just as the example, just because it's one of those. It's also perfect because we know the quarterback's great, but the offensive volume's low. It's just so many working factors in it. That push pull. Yeah, I'm curious what stats in particular you guys are talking about. I'd love to hear them. I mean, I know, like I said, how I view them, but just was curious. Zay is a smash on DK. Yep. Yeah, this is where I'm at also, is drafters DK. I'm much higher on Zay. I'm going to do one more draft. Do a big board in a second, but let me catch up with chat. Like when he can just like rack up catches, get these 7, 8, 9 catch games, just so valuable in full point PPR. And then, he only had a couple 100-yard games. The volume still hurts him a little bit on DraftKings for that bonus, but when I can know that I'm going to get a lot of like high teen, low 20 games from Zay, even without a touchdown, I feel good about it. Yeah, it is. Part of the problem is 2 years ago, Andrews and Likely dominated red zone targets, and then Bateman had the same red zone target share percentage as Zay, and just with much less targets. So it's just he doesn't have that ultimate skill set, and that does cap him. And that's why there's other, receivers like that who just don't have that red zone role the same way, are always going to get hit a little bit. Like there's some smaller receivers, like Steph Diggs is taller, obviously, but who's always shown a red zone affinity and ability. But somebody like Xavier Worthy, he had a lot of manufactured touchdowns as a rookie, and the difference is that offense is going to just throw a lot more. So that also that helps. Like Worthy and Zay Flowers should be treated very similarly in the sense of, small, undersized receiver, wide receiver one, upside, elite quarterback. The difference is the Chiefs could be top 10 in passing, and the Ravens could have just historically been like bottom 3. So, even if they both end up with the same number of touchdowns, or even touchdown rate to make it even more fair, there's just going to be more opportunities out there. So did the Texans with Christian Kirk. You drafted a bunch of Kirk. In terms of like producing in the playoffs. Well, the problem is Kirk, we don't know is going to be back in Houston. I don't mind taking 20 around Kirk, but I do wonder where he ends up. Yeah, well, and that's why I don't see him retiring. That's why I didn't see them letting him go. And his money, like his guarantee hit, I think this was it late last week or something. It was just it was an early guarantee to hit for Kupp. That's how I treated him last year too, like 2 times exposure on full. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And yeah, it's a perfect example of, because we're going to start to see a lot of guys getting cut, and some of these guys can absolutely land in a better spot, whether it's, say, at running back like an Aaron Jones or James Conner or Tony Pollard. Like they could get cut solely because of a new offensive system taking over, or their current money is just too high, and they can probably get a better price, somewhere. TJ Hawkinson's another one. I talked about him before. Another chat. Like this is a guy just a couple years ago, removed from being one of the top tight ends in the league. He blew out his knee, came back, wasn't ready to start last year, came back late, had fine production, just didn't get the touchdowns with Darnold. And then this past season has just like the worst quarterback, some of the worst quarterback play in the league. So, if he gets cut by Minnesota, I would not be shocked to see him maybe not be a top 5 tight end, but a top 10 tight end, sure. Oh, Kupp was at the start of last year. I'm not sure if you're referencing like my comment of like what Kupp did in the Super Bowl. Like Kupp was not a free agent this year. Like his contract got guaranteed, so it makes him locked in, but it was not like he was a free agent. FK saying, Steve, the Cooper Kupp stuff was mainly how he graded and the missed tackles forced advanced wide receiver category. Interesting. Yeah, no, I just see him getting more opportunities. Only had, never had like more than 13 points, only had like 3 or 4 games above 10. But I look at it, I think Seattle's offense is going to be good. Sam Darnold's good. Probably at worst the number 3 receiver on the team. Very likely number 2, or probably more like one of these combos, like 2 and 3 are pretty similar. And we're just getting him so late. Like, would I be interested in Cooper Kupp if he was going 140? No, absolutely not. But we're getting him at 190, 200. Just so easy. Like if if he has 3 10-point games again, he's more than worth that price. FK, the list was mostly very elusive guys and then big body wide receivers like DK Metcalf. So Cup was surprising to see. Yeah, I mean, I think it shows he's still, is shifty. He's shifty in a different way. Like, he's always such a great route runner. Like, he never timed well, but his movements, and this is why he was a great route runner, was always just so pure, for lack of, just crisp and pure. And so, yeah, I can see him making guys miss that way. Malik Washington feels for me like the best click at wide receiver in round 20. I think there are a lot of guys like that, but Malik Washington for sure. Dolphins probably not likely to draft a receiver early. They'll probably will at some point. But yeah, Washington is definitely a path to be the number 2 on that team. Team selling enough to stop Seattle run. Jason was beast enough, man. So when he got targeted, he's embarrassing. Well, and I think this also just shows like the Kubiak and come from the Shanahan tree. And we'll see if the new offense coordinator is the same, does come from the Shanahan tree. But I mean, this is what McVay does. This is what LaFleur does. They create these mismatches. We see it with LaFleur with Jane Reed. We see it with McVay with up in the past, Buka. We saw it with the tight ends. Like, when teams adjust to him, they just find such. I mean, Debo from the Shanahan tree. So, yeah, I'm interested to see the Seattle offense without Kubiak, but also basically retaining everyone. Just came out. Dolphins had talks with teams about trading Mika. That does not surprise me. Dolphins still have a ways to go fixing their cap. Let's get into another draft. This will be the last one, and then send everyone over to Huheem's channel. So let me get in this draft. I'll be entering this big board in 10 seconds, and in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. And the Dolphins cap situation, even with the cuts they've already made, and the Chubb cut is not official yet. May they trade him? May they make him a post June 1st designation? Which, just for those, because that I know is extremely confusing for people. So just to give people an understanding what post June 1st cap cuts mean, is it splits whatever. So just to use even round numbers for an example, if somebody has 20 million left guaranteed, that money would accelerate if you cut them. So you take the $20 million cap hit this year. You designated post June 1st, you take this year, what this year's cap hit of that 20 million would have been, let's just say it would have been 4 years, so 5 million a year. So you take 5 million this year and then 15 million on next year's cap from guaranteed money. The problem, the good of that is obviously you save more money this year. The downside is twofold. One, you're pushing that money towards next year, so you need to account for it next year. And the other thing is you don't realize that cap savings until June 1st. What the designation does is it allows the player to hit free agency. So you're not waiting until June 1st, which is technically the start of the new league cap year, for trades and cuts like that. But so the player would then be free to sign, but you don't realize the cap savings until after June 1st. So it wouldn't help the Dolphins. What it would help the Dolphins is, or any team that does this, many teams will utilize this, is it helps them re-sign or sign their rookies, sign any summer players, and just then have some money for cap moves during the season, because every team needs a few million during the season to sign guys out the street, replace guys, put guys on IR, etc. The other thing to keep in mind with these post 1st June cuts is, unless something's changed that I'm not aware, but you can only designate 2 players a year as post June 1st cuts. So Dolphins are still making that decision. So it would not be shocking me if they are looking to trade Minka. That's one of the few cap hits they could maybe trade and get some relief. 26 Miami reeks of 25 Jets, besides occasionally Waddle. I'm getting late round one to chain. I'm avoiding. Yeah, and this is, I think it will probably be a little bit better because Jets were just so bad last year. But I tend to agree. And it makes it, for as much as a chain, even when the Dolphins struggling last year, like a chain was worth it. They're, he still finished, let me just look real quick. He finished 5th in total points. So yeah, a chain is still worth it last year. The problem is there's no Mike McDaniel anymore, and quarterback play could be even worse than it was last season, which was not good last year. So it does worry me. I want to take some first round, but I just don't want to be extreme because there's just ways where, he's this year's Breece Hall, and Breece Hall still had explosive games last year, still looked fine. At times, had that one massive game against the Bengals. But Breece Hall finishes RB18. So yeah, you don't want to pay that price. You don't want to pay that price for Hall last year where he was going, and you don't want to pay it for sure for a chain in the first round. So I agree. A lot of risks there. I want to see what they do at quarterback. I'll feel better if they have a more competent quarterback. Interesting. So I don't really take Jeremiah Love. I moved him up slightly, but I'm still wary of him. At 21, though, a little past ADP. His ADP is moving up. I don't love that, but I'll take a shot. Totally fair. I hope they make, speaking of the Dolphins, a real run at Willis. They'd be somewhat exciting at least. Yeah, I mean, I think Malik Willis would be a nice addition for him. There was apparently a rumor that Jalen Waddle was not happy and wants out of Miami. I don't know if there's any validity there. Boy, that would be real rough going if this Miami team, loses their offensive-minded coach, loses the quarterback, their top 2 wide receivers, their tight end, Waller's a free agent just after losing Jonnu. A lot of turnover. Oh, wow. Well, that worked out because Chase Brown would have been the other running back I would have taken. I give him at 28. I love Chase Brown and Jamar Chase together in 2 pieces of this Bengals offense. Feels really good. Question is, do I pull up Burrow or not? Haven't really done it yet, but right now I'm kind of low on Burrow. Not me personally, but low on my percentage, so maybe I do it. My general hope is Burrow falls more back in line to where he was going at the start of this. But right now, I think it might be more post-draft where we see that. So, and didn't mention it before, but we have Legion in here. We have plenty of other names I recognize. Anyone in here, please say hi. I don't think there's anyone else that I see who's been chatting, but I could be wrong. So Legion starts Lamb, Nico. It takes Kenneth Walker. Chain about to pull a 2025 CMC of Waddle Gun, or how trash they are. He's the entire offense. I just don't know if he can handle that kind of workload. We even saw last year where I think it took a toll on him. So that, but yeah, he would be the entire offense. There's no doubt about that. The other issue is, of course, CMC has Kyle Shanahan. coaching him. Not sure if Bobby Sloak, who is the Shanahan disciple, and company are able to manage it the same way. Like right now, I'm most out on probably the Browns and then the Jets, kind of tied. After that, Dolphins might be the third team I'm next out on. But it's not as strong as where I'm currently at with my limited exposure to Browns and Jets. Like for me, Browns is right now just Quinshon Judkins. I've taken Fannin once or twice when he falls, taken Judy a couple times just because he goes so late. That's about it. Jets, my highest exposed Jet right now might be Adonai Mitchell. It's probably Adonai Mitchell or Mason Taylor. Just because they go so late, and I just don't want too much of them. Let's see what Danny does here. He takes Scadaboo. Really was hoping to get him back. Let's take a Terry shot. Would open up that stack as well. David Blau says Terry's going to get 10 targets a game. I don't believe it, but I'd love to see it. So Harvey and Henderson go. That's fine. Right now, I can't really pay these prices. I know I need to get a little of both of them, but I have a tough time taking them. I think Judkins is a better click, even in a worse offense. Javonte and Swift, to me, are definitely better clicks. I think I won't pull Burrow, because since I have a Jaden out also, I'm hoping one of them get back to me at pick 69. That's my hope. Take a lot of Swift, but I will continue doing that. It's just tough to get away from top tier offense, lead back, even though it is more committee-ish than some other situations. We just know there can be more than enough value there. Swift, last year finished as our RB 15, and one thing that I keep in mind is those first 4 weeks, 4 or 5. Bears had the bye week 5. The Bears offense was fairly inefficient early on. It got better and better as the year went on. Swift, let me just look real quick since I have a little bit of a break. I'm going to go week 5 on week 5. So it includes everyone's bye. Everyone will have a bye week in that time. Swift was RB12. So definitely some improvement there, and just, a lot of 20-point games, 15-point games. Feels good. I'm obviously typecasting too much with the Miami Jets stuff, but it feels similarities, just personal fade stands. No, like I said, Dolphins are kind of third for me, so I get it. It's in part, partly Dolphins are fade because really there's 3. You can take a Ollie Gordon or Jalen Wright shot, but we don't know the quarterback. We don't know the tight end. The only receivers we think we know are Waddle and Washington, and it's just there's not a lot to even want to take. Obviously pattern matching. Yeah, no, I get the personal fade. Definitely one of my bigger mistakes was too often just being like, oh, taking late Browns running backs or Browns receivers will pay off, right? Nope, they did not. So didn't get either quarterback back. That's unfortunate. Let's go Bo Nix here. So just missed Burrow by 2 picks, and Jaden was a little before that, 60s. So Javonte been a big riser. I had to understand it, but man, I wish he caught some passes at least. Even there 2 to 3 as the season went on. Yeah, I mean, a lot of that was just, when your weapons are, particularly once Lamb got healthy, Lamb, Pickens, and Ferguson, and then even the emergence of Flournoy, not a lot left over for the running back. Maybe that changes this year, maybe not. Don't really like Michael Wilson. We will go Pearsall here. So I'm okay at Javonte's price just because I do think he's back in Dallas, and just a lot of ways that situation can pay off. If he leaves Dallas, then hopefully it's a good landing spot. Definitely not all landing spots are created equal, though. So I think, we talked about these third-year receivers. Ricky Pearsall is somebody who didn't have a touchdown last year, but his production outside touchdowns was pretty good. I think, and I know he's dealt with injuries. I mean, being shot wasn't really his fault. He's dealt with injuries, and of course, Purdy missed time last year, but it's like, boy, if you project Purdy fully healthy, Pearsall fully healthy, entering third year, just a lot of upside. Even if Juwan Jennings is back, I think Pearsall becomes the one, especially with Kittle probably limited or missing time early in the year. I think he can really pay off this price tag. FK saying he's a big buyer in Javonte last year, but reluctant this year for a few reasons. Yeah, I regret not having more Javonte last year, and definitely a miss by me. I mean, I definitely understand it. Like, can he do it again? Like, do the Cowboys bring in somebody else? He had a situation where, he got injured in camp. He then came back, and then Sanders gets injured, and then quickly goes on IR. Jaden Blue injured and had his issues. Like they just sent him to the shadow realm pretty early until the last game of the year. Maffa got injured. So it's like they bring up Malik Davis off the practice squad, and it's obviously in that case just going to be the Javonte show. And I will say he paid it off. Like, he kept earning that role. And so my thought is they continue to do that. But yeah, they might feel differently this year. And more so, like, even if they bring him back, it might be more of a committee. And FK saying I summed it up quite nicely. So yeah, I mean, there's honestly a lot of those types of situations. And I mentioned it before with the Cardinals stuff, Trey McBride. It's like literally everything went right for him to have this tight end one, not just on his own team with no running backs. Marv getting hurt, being down by 20 every game, but then every other elite tight end getting banged up. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, it's just wide open for you to be tight end one, and by a country mile. Let me take Tony Pollard. I haven't taken much of him. Little fall here. Had another 1,000-yard year. The Titans are, while they could definitely cut Tony Pollard and save some money, they also don't have to. They've won the highest cap numbers as is. Calvin Ridley is much more likely to be cut, would save more money. And I could just see them running it back with Pollard and Spears again in relatively the same roles. And Pollard at this price, I think, is valuable enough, particularly if the offense is better. Like, his issue last year was the offense was just so bad. If the offense is even below average, the 20th ranked offense, then Tony Pollard can have even more value. So I need a quarterback. Bo Nix goes. I was hoping to get one of Nix. Pearsall Purdy might not get either. Oof. Well, that got a little more dangerous than I was hoping for. With that guy not having any quarterbacks. So, yeah, that sometimes it is like we do need to keep in mind the situation can dramatically change, whether it's the coaching changes, guys getting healthy, a quarterback who was injured last year, now their situation's back, so maybe it's going to be more fluid or more favorable for a certain position versus another. Offensive line getting healthy. There's a lot of variables that go into what an NFL player's production ends up being. And, that's why right now, with so many unknowns, we should gravitate more towards guys we feel more confident in situations. Because, I think overall what the market does and why there is this run on quarterbacks in this range, there is the, kind of another running back tier here and then it drops off again. When we kind of have a much better picture of all 32 teams after the draft, we could see more falls on like an Algier or a Monty. See more of these quarterbacks go, Jordan Love might be more like picked in the 120s again, like he was last year. Same with Jared Goff. But right now it's like, well, with very little certainty. So let's just take them. So I definitely need to catch up a quarterback. Feel good about my running back, my wide receiver. Love my top four. Tight end, definitely looking to wait on in this build. Especially, and we're seeing guys fall, like Kincaid, Strange. I don't get why Strange is going 133. It's one of the top offenses in the league. I know I mentioned before, there's a lot of mouths to feed, but I still think Strange is exceedingly good. Like, he missed a ton of time last year. 46 catches, 540 yards, 3 touchdowns. I'm not going to take him here, but I think he should go much more in, like, I'm ranked 105, 115, 120 even seems like a ton of value. And quarterback. It has gotten picked over. Denzel Boston or Emmett Johnson. This is tough. I will just go Emmett Johnson. Might stop at 5 running backs because of this. 2 rookies, Chase Brown, Swift, and Tony Pollard. I feel like I could easily stop at 5 and feel pretty good about that. Maybe it becomes a 4 tight end build. Maybe it's a 9 receiver build. We'll see if a quarterback gets back to me, but Boston's there. Might have to go that route. Maybe this is a 4 quarterback build and just taking, Purdy and then 3 other darts. Because that would be a fun start to add like a Denzel Boston to this team. Oh boy, I think I gotta do it. Denzel Boston. We'll pray to have a quarterback room that we like. How much Emmett Johnson do you have now? Let me bring up another. It's probably only 20-some%, but maybe 30%. We are sitting at, okay, 38%. So 38.5%. You're going to be obviously even higher after this one. So yeah, I probably want to cap myself around 30%. Partly why I'm taking Emmett Johnson now, and I think Hames agrees with me on this, is I expect him to run at the combine. I don't think we're going to have Jeremiah Love run at the combine. I don't know why he would. Price, I'm sure, will. Guys like Coleman and Katron Allen are probably not, if they perform at the combine, probably aren't going to wow. So I think Emmett Johnson could really help himself at the combine. And I would not be shocked to see his ADP rise even more. And it's really not, I was on BBG the other night, it's really not even rising. It's still at like 128. So it's not going to shock me if post-combine, not right away, but by the time mid-April, if he's sitting there in like 105, 110. So I want to get in now, but I probably will try and be only around 30%. I don't want to go crazy. Just so many, chances of failure due to injury or bad situation. Not necessarily failure, but just not being a total smash. I mean, again, 30% I think is fine. 55% is a lot, though. I do know his price is different there. I haven't done a ton of drafters yet. I have some slows going now. I need to do more. Definitely want to do some drafter streams and DraftKings streams as well. But mainly I've been focused on underdog. So quarterback, this could pan out with the Darnold potentially falling. Wow. That feels good. I feel a lot better about my team now, getting Sam Darnold in at 141. That is some nice value considering where he's been going. Do need to get tight end at some point. Always can take Andrews here at 148. ADP wise is all quarterback. It's definitely been, next year has been pushed down. Juwan Johnson Andrews go, so probably not going tight end here. Sadiq, I moved him down a little bit more. Probably will. I mean, I have like Andrews and Henry above him and Juwan Johnson, so it's also a relative thing for me. Like I don't mind Sadiq in this range, though probably not on this team. Running back, could tack on a 6, but I feel like need it. Make this pick. I probably don't know if I'll take Josh Downs here. I'm going quarterback and probably Kyler if he's there. If not, one of these other guys. I feel good about all of them. Just be done. Dan Jones goes ahead. I'll take Kyler. you a Jaden Ott guy at all, Steve, or do you think he's draftable in round 20? I think he's draftable in round 20. I am a little bit of him. I think I still would have him, like when I did rankings with PPR Tyler and Who Hames, I had him in top 10, I think at 10, if I remember correctly. I think he's draftable. I wouldn't be surprised if he looks good at the combine. He looked good at the Senior Bowl. I think he helped his case there. He could do some more help, but probably, at best, he's the 3rd round guy, probably more likely a 4th round pick. So, but, we've seen that the last couple of years. Bucky Irving, Cam Scadaboo, Woody Marks. Like, you don't always have to be a day 1 or 2 to pay off. But kind of what I said is, Mike Washington now have, 3-4%. The top 6, the 2 Penn State guys and every other running back willing to be, near the field, if not above it. Definitely will for like Emmett. But the other guys, Mike Washington, 4 or 5%. Other guys, give me 1-2%. Like, I'm not gonna, I don't want to go overboard with any of these guys. And this is kind of fly fish point. Such a poor running back class outside of Love. Really will take a stand a la Bucky in 2024. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a little bit more to it. Like, it's not last year's running back class. I actually think it's kind of comparable. Like, Jeremiah Love's in his own category, but it's kind of comparable. I say this about the wide receiver class as well, but to the 2022 receiver class. You had 3 second-round picks. Walker Hall, early 2nd round, and then James Cook late. Could kind of have the same thing again. Price, Emmett Johnson, Jonah Coleman. I don't know if they all get 2nd round, but 2nd, early 3rd round. And then you had 1 or 2 3rd rounders. I know Brian Robinson was late. Tyrion Davis Price was like somewhere in the middle of the 3rd round. But then you had a ton of 4th rounders. Rashard White, Zamir White, Hassan Haskins, a couple other names that aren't jumping to mind right now. But the point being is you had like a bunch of 4th rounders. And I think it's going to be kind of like that class. We'll start with Kelsey. Maybe this ends up a 4 tight end team. I think I'm just, I'm definitely stopping at 3 quarterback now. I think I'm stopping at 5 running back. I might do Kelsey and then like 3 other guys, just to mix up the build. I like my receiver. I don't think my receivers are weak. I have Chase as the anchor, but it's like McLaurin, Sutton, and Pearsall all can be 1s on their team. Denzel Boston got good value at that, so I don't feel weak at receiver. So no, I think collectively, guys not named Mike Washington or above, I don't want more than probably roughly the field, like 8%, 10%. So be it Randall, Cam Black, MB, probably won't have any Seth McGowan, but all these guys, Ott, etc. I'm on the clock, and you know what? We'll just take my guy. Actually, we'll move it up. We'll take Cooper early. I feel like I can in this group. I know he very well could have come back to me, but I want to make sure I have more Omar Cooper Jr. I have way more Surratt right now. Surratt, I have 23%. Cooper Jr., I have 16%. So want to get that up a little bit. All right, coming up into the 16th round, done at quarterback, done at running back. definitely need a lot of tight end help. Could have gotten Schultz there. Hawkinson went higher than expected, so that was disappointing. Theo Johnson also would have made sense. That was a good pick by Legion. So you do need to catch up there. So I do think this class is down. To me, compared to 2 years ago, you had Jonathan Brooks, who everyone knew was an injury risk and all that. But then you had all these third round guys, Benson, Marshawn, third, fourth round guys, Benson, Marshawn Lloyd, Corum, etc. And this class, I think, is better than that group. I really do. Now, again, taking Love out of the equation. Love's in his own category. But I do think the depth dries up pretty quick in this class. Likely and Schultz go. Yeah, maybe should have gone tight end here over Omar Cooper. So we get somebody back. We'll see what comes back. Ferguson goes. That's not fun. Yeah, we are going to just take Kobe Parkinson. I'm higher on him. I think his red zone role continues, even if, not going to be shocked if Ferguson gets more targets, but Parkinson, I think, could be a touchdown hunter for the Rams next year. Got Pepper Tony checking in. Sup, pups? Hope you're doing well. Doing all right. This is my third draft. Did a big board, war room, and doing a final big board here. And then I will be, wrapping up and jumping off, and then sending everyone over to Huheem's channel. He's got Steph Miller on at 4 p.m. I believe it's 4 p.m. Eastern, right, Huheem's, if you're still in. And definitely want to watch that stream. So seeing at 3-5-6-2, basically focus on receiver, tight end the rest of the way. Could I stop at 2 tight ends? Could. I think I keep grinding it out here just with enough uncertainty with Kelsey. We'll take a Gunnar Helm shot. $4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern. Okay. I'll still drop a link, and for those, I'll be on with Huheem's tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern on his channel. I'll be doing my stream at 1 p.m. Eastern, and then after that, I'll jump over onto, so probably just 2 drafts tomorrow, but we'll be doing that for sure. And we're talking wide receivers, particularly number 2 wide receivers. So it should be a really good conversation. Looking forward to talking about it. And I think there's a lot, with how we're just seeing in the NFL these last couple of years, how certain teams are handling it, their wide receiver rooms. Yeah, I need to check this out, the ambassador program. Uh, 22 free agent class wasn't heavy, which impacts rookie opportunity, which we learned in 2024. 22 at Fournette and Connor get real money, then everyone else cheap. Yeah, no, I mean, it's also what opportunities are out there. So I think all 3 things matter: free agents, rookies, and opportunities. Like last year, there were opportunities. It's just teams filled them with, Washington took a 7th round running back. Bears took a 7th round running back and kept Swift. Get Malachi Fields. I know I probably could have waited on him. Want another rookie there. And I do want a tight end. So I think we'll know a lot, like what places look good after free agency for sure, because the other thing is with so many new offensive-minded coaches, whether it's offensive coordinators or offensive head coaches, situations, and that's why, like, I took Pollard in this, but even though they don't have to cut Pollard, they could. Now Pollard then could go somewhere else. Make this pick. I'm gonna go tight end. Take Gesicki or Stowers. I'll take Gesicki. I just have a big Cincy stack going without Burrow, but that's fine. A lot of pieces of one of the best passing, or which could be one of the best offenses, but definitely one of the best passing offenses. So went 4 tight end. Kelsey and a bunch of late options. Probably want a veteran here after taking 3 rookie receivers. So I'll stay away from like a Jeremy Bernard in this room. And then feel good about my running backs and quarterbacks as well. So one more pick to wrap up this team. Probably take it from this list. I'll throw Slayton in there also. Definitely no like truly certain situations in this group. We have, veteran who we don't know, like Keenan Allen or Christian Kirk. Some young guys like Vele, Besh, like Washington could emerge, but I will take from this group. Let's go check Besh. I think he could be a solid second option, second tier option on the Raiders. So that will wrap up this team. Definitely a more unique build, 3-5-8-4. Purdy, Darnold, Murray definitely caught up at quarterback, so I felt good about that. Love, Chase Brown, Swift, Pollard, Emma Johnson. I think as long as Emma Johnson or Tony Pollard doesn't get cut, and Emma Johnson and a good landing spot, but a real outcome of 5 starting running backs. Chase, Terry McLaurin, Cortland Sutton, Ricky Pearsall, Denzel Boston. Felt very strong there, then waited. took Cooper Jr., Fields, a couple more rookies, and then Jack Besh to round it out. Then Travis Kelce's first tight end. Because of that and the strength at running back, decided I could go 4 here. Colby Parkinson, Gunnar Helm, Mike Gesicki. So if for some reason Kelce retires, still could be an okay tight end room. And if he doesn't retire, I think there's just a lot of value and upside here, especially having Kelce go at or past ADP is much more rare right now. So I think Legion was the only other guy in here from the chat. He went 3-6-8-3, May, Goff, Shador, and got a Shador fall, which is nice and probably the right call. Kenneth Walker, Quinshon Judkins, Jonah Coleman, J.K. Dobbins, Jordan Mason, and Kamani Badal. It's a solidly built running back room. CD Lamb, Nico, Jameson Williams, Alec Pierce, Steph Diggs, so 5 in the top 90. Dakinon Concepcion, Tesla, Kyle Williams. And, Williams is part of and Diggs is part of the May stack. Goff, Tesla, and Shador. Already just kind of a team correlation with Judkins, and this is a team who's very live to be drafting somebody. So maybe a Concepcion falls there. Henry continuing with the May stack. Theo Johnson, Mason Taylor. So yeah, good well-built room there as well. So thank you everyone for jumping in. Let me just drop Huhaim's stream in chat. We will get out of here. I will be back tomorrow afternoon on my channel, then going over to Huhaim's channel. And we will keep on grinding. And like I said, we are going to almost sent the wrong one because Huhaim's is doing a baseball stream tonight as well. But first up is him and Steph Miller at 5 p.m. Eastern. But I definitely want to check out Huhaim's baseball stream as well tonight, so that should be good as well. So here's the link for his stream at 5. So a little over an hour. Be jumping in chat there. So hope to see everyone there, and thanks again for jumping in, chat, all the support. Don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't. We will catch you next time.